Over-reliance on electronic due diligence or EDD systems. It is commonly thought that using such systems, such as Third Fort or CREDAS, and very, very similar systems, and we use a system called Landmark, actually are the whole of the due diligence process that you have to do. And that using these systems replaces anything else that you have to do. You just send someone to an electronic system, you get a green tick, and everything is absolutely fine. But actually, that's an over-reliance on them and an oversimplification of what is expected of you under money laundering regulations. So HMRC expect, yes, that you carry out ID verification and client due diligence on sellers and buyers. But what they expect is that you KYC or know your customer. And how can you know your customer and prove KYC if all you're doing is sending them to an electronic due diligence system? Now, even the systems themselves, or those that run them, state that they are only as good as the information that is inputted into them. And they cannot guarantee that the person that sits in front of them for visual ID and who they do the checks on is actually the person that you're working with, because they have no way of knowing that. So thinking that you can just rely on that system is an oversimplification, but it's also actually putting you in danger of breaching money laundering regulations and potentially aiding someone in money laundering or committing fraud in the UK, and the damage that that does to your company reputation as well. So how do we get around that? We split the ID verification and client due diligence into a two-step process, not a one-step electronic systems, but a two-step. And step one is always what I call manual checks. So it's those questions that you ask, those important questions that may, dependent on the responses, bring up red flags and you need to dig deeper. So yes, you need to get your ID documents, your driving license, your passport, your utility bill less than 3 months old, whatever it is that you are requesting. But you also need to ask questions. So from a property sourcer perspective, what about from the buyer and the investor? You know, what are their investment plans? Are they already owning an investment portfolio? Money launderers tend not to have investment plans and strategies. So by asking questions, you can glean the position of the person that you're proposing to work with. And then when you've gathered and you've asked all of those questions and you've gathered together information, so you've got a copy of a driving license under a passport, a utility bill, full name, address, date of birth, etc., then you have the information that can go into the electronic due diligence platform in step two. So the second step is electronic checks. And the electronic system can get to places that you can't easily get to. It can check for PEPs, it can check for sanctions. It can do checks on your driving license to your passport numbers. It can do checks on companies and company structures. But if you simply send a seller or a buyer to one of these systems, it only checks the person that attends and states that they are the person that you're working with and provides whatever information they provide. And a green tick box coming back does not cover you for meeting minimum standards. So both steps, one, manual gathering, ID verification, asking questions, and step two, linking all of that into the electronic due diligence system, are really, really key for you to meet minimum standards as they currently sit under the money laundering regulations. Please do not try to cut corners, because if HMRC should inspect you and find out that you're not doing those two steps or all that you should be, you will fail to meet the minimum standards and potentially face a fine from HMRC.